Boys could also support themselves by going into the church or the army. But girls took family patrimony away with their dowries. Sforza decided that he would keep all his money for his son and send the 3 girls into convents, those warehouses of unwanted women. Now we need to remember here that in response to Lutheran complaints about Italian fathers locking up unwanted daughters in convents out of greed, girls who clearly had no vocation to be nuns, in 1563 the Council of Trent mandated that all girls who wanted to be nuns have a private interview with the bishop to ascertain if it's what they really wanted to do. Now, most girls are going to say yes, and you're going to obey your father in the 16th century. Back then, convents were like maximum security prisons. Nuns were not allowed to leave or even to get a glimpse of the outside world. All windows faced the inner courtyard. They were supposed to pray and work all day long, cooking, sewing, doing laundry, and in the evening whip themselves. And they were only allowed to read prayer books. They were not even supposed to befriend each other. Periodically, they could receive visitors, which they saw through a metal grill in the nuns' parlor. Visitors were supposed to be a short list of fathers, brothers, uncles, and female relatives, though in Olympia's time, rowdy Italian youths had taken to visiting the convents, pretending to be the nuns' brothers, and then exposing themselves to the shocked virgins behind the grill. This was the only excitement a nun could have. Nuns slept in cells, much like jail cell, the same word, and were guarded so that they had no hope of escaping. These women received sentences of life imprisonment for the crime of being born female. Now, while Olympia's younger sisters acquiesced and entered the convent, 15-year-old Olympia remained stubbornly defiant. She wanted to be in and of the world, she told her father. She wanted to marry, to have children, and help her husband in some business or in politics. And she was also terrified of being locked up. Her resistance was unheard of at the time, when all children were expected to make sacrifices for family unity. Her father refused to listen, and he brought in a young priest to stay at her side every waking moment and remind her of her duty to her family. She became so frustrated at this that one day she scurried across town to the bishop's palace, the building shown here, and left him a letter in which she explained that her father was trying to force her to become a nun against the edicts of the Council of Trent. And for good measure, she said that the priest he put on her side had been trying to sexually molest her. The horrified bishop sent the priest to the Holy Inquisition in Rome, and her father was almost excommunicated. So Olympia got out of the convent, and somehow, at the age of 17, she charmed the richest young bachelor in Viterbo into marrying her. Paolini was 20 years old, a multimillionaire in terms of today's money, who owned farms, vineyards, inns, shops, and palaces, and was so crazy about his bride that he accepted her father's pitiful dowry. And this is the church where Paolo and Olympia were married in September of 1608. Now, through her manipulation, lies, outright resistance, and charm, Olympia had gone from a poverty-stricken, unwanted girl, almost imprisoned in a convent, to the richest woman in Viterbo.